Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're joined by Matt Dixon, the CEO of advice.io. They utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning to rate the underlying value of cryptocurrency projects without human intervention. So, fantastic to support us with, whether we should be entering into a trade or not. Now, Matt Dixon, he's a professional trader with over 18 years experience in trading. He's also been an advisor to the World Bank. So, there is no one better really than to sort of navigate, our thought processes in what's happening in the market today. Obviously, there's lots of fear and uncertainty. There's lots of influencers in the space talking about the fact that we're in a bear market. So let's sort of get an expert's opinion on the market as we see it by chatting with Matt Dixon. So let's get down to the desktop and take a look at everything that's happening in the market. But before we do, if you enjoy this sort of content, mash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right, let's get to it.
Hi guys, thank you for having me back. Real pleasure to be with you. I really enjoy doing this technical analysis, and especially when it goes according to plan, which it absolutely has done. So last week we warned of further downside to come across the whole range because the market's so tightly correlated, as I'm always saying. And we're seeing a little bounce back. And if you've been following me on Twitter, you'll see that we again nailed the bottom because it's a perfect Fibonacci extension on one of the waves. So we nailed the bottom. We got and said to people it was going to push up a little bit, allow people to get out of any long trades they were trapped in if they wanted to, or at least give hope that we're somewhere near the bottom, and we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. Just looking here on the long-term picture, fairly long-term picture on Bitcoin, and this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an origin here where I start my wave count. So just to try to talk you through it. I've actually, in my mind, I see here as a 5-wave move down. It fulfills all the rules. The wave 3 was beyond 1.618 times this first wave down, wave 1, a wave 4, which doesn't overlap wave 1, and then a wave 5, which ends up a little bit lower there. So we've got 5 waves down. So if you're moving down in 5 waves, it can either be an impulsive move. That's basically a bigger wave 1 down. It means the actual trend has changed and you're starting to move down. But the fact is, we actually then moved up in 3 waves to a higher point than the origin here. So that means this was not the start of a move down. It was not an impulse down. So that means that it's part of either a 535, which is a zigzag correction, or, well, that's basically it. It's a 535. So we've got 5 waves down here, which is a bigger A wave. And then we've got 3 waves up in the A wave here, and 3 waves down in the B wave, then 5. So it's amazing. We've got a 5, 3, and it's going to be 5 waves to finish this correction. And it is a correction, so it's great news. It means that we're going to go to new all-time highs once the correction is complete. But then within the B wave, we've actually got, a 5. I think this is 5 waves, 5, 3, 5. So we've actually got a zigzag as the B wave. So it's just amazing, all these fractals. You've got waves within waves, and you can actually count the personalities of the different waves, and it gives you different expectations for the extensions on each particular wave and gives you great clues. So if you follow me on Twitter, and as we do more and more with Cheeky Crypto, we'll get more and more into the expectations. So anyway, this is a 5, 3, 5 I propose. And so even though this I've got it there labeled C, but it's actually A wave, B wave, and C wave down. So this B wave is allowed to go above the origin here. That's allowed when you've got a correction. It can go, you can have all sorts of things like expanded flat corrections, which would be a 335, but it can go beyond the origin. That's exactly what's happened. And then we're looking at probably, you can count it if you want. If you wanted to have it 535, then this needs to be 5 waves down to finish. And that's basically what it's got to be. So we're looking probably at counting this as a 5-wave move down, and I've got it labeled as WXY. It's actually more likely to be a 5-wave move down. So no implication on the overall outlook, because I'm looking for this correction probably to end a little bit beyond this move down. So I'm basically looking, I'll just show you my Fibonacci tool on, just measure from the bottom of this wave to the top of this wave. Yeah, that actually gave me the target for this A wave, at least anyway. And then go to B wave and C wave down. And I used this Fibonacci movement. In fact, I'll just move that. But what I've got here, people were asking me, what's the target for Bitcoin? Well, in correlation with a lot of other assets, I basically believe that we're going to head down towards ultimately around the 25,000 level on Bitcoin. So I'm just looking at this. If we stretch out now and focus a bit more on the shorter term. So I've just put the very simple TA thing here as a channel, or basically a resistance. So the resistance here, we start at the top, and obviously every point it touches here, here, and I'm proposing it may touch here before we get the turn down. So if that's the case, within this correction up, so we got the move down the other day, and we actually nailed the bottom on that and told people we're going to get a bounce from here. And I did tell people this was going to correlate with other crypto assets. So we nailed it across the board, telling people this was a time that we're going to get a short-term bounce. This move up, if we focus on it, I'll just open it up a little bit more. You can see we've got this, either the B wave is complete. So this B wave here that I've got labeled is either complete here, or this is an ABC, which is an A wave, smaller B wave, and we're going to C wave to finish the B here. So the B wave is either finished here, or we're going to get a further push up to finish here. I will propose, and my favored scenario is that the B wave will finish here on this trend line, which will give us a price of somewhere around the 40,000 level for this current move up to finish on Bitcoin before we get the next leg down. It's not something I trade. It's extremely precarious trade. This B waves are unreliable. As I say, it could be over here or it could be over here. There's a bit of variability, and I prefer to use this trend line as a target. So I think we're probably going to move to here, but don't trade on it. Don't do a buy on it. It's too risky. But I suspect either from here or somewhere around this levels, we're going to get a further push down to complete the overall count. So from this X wave, we're basically an A, B, and a Y. And the Y wave will finish, as I say, my proposed finish point is around the 25,000 level. So when I say we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, it's been a big move down, hasn't it, from the top? So looking from there, big corrective move down from the top, and even from higher than that, isn't it? Had a big correction, and we're going to finish probably somewhere around there. So if we move on to one that everybody wants to see, is 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗚, and this is quite a clear picture in my view. I loved it because, again, I think the viewers would agree. I nailed the turning point here because it's a double top from the origin, and we got a perfect 3 waves down, 3 waves up. So this is what's called a flat correction. 3, 3, 5 is known as a flat correction. So we're looking for 5 waves from the top. So probably, I've got it labeled here, actually. I'll move this fib here. So from the top to 100% here, I've got that labeled as wave 1. Could well be right, probably right. It actually gives us 1, 2. Actually, the wave 1 is probably, that's unlikely to be wave 1 because the wave 3 would normally be at least 1.618 times. So I've probably got that labeled wrong. Got my fib tool wrong. Wave 1 was probably that movement there. Then we've got quite an extended. So I'll move that now. That means that this wave 3 is extended. Now, the reason I'm pretty confident it's a wave 3 as part of the A wave. So it can either be 3, 3, 5, or it could be a WXY. It doesn't matter. It's all corrective in the move down, and we're going to push to new all-time highs on it. We're going to push to some real great, much higher on 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗚. So from the top anyway, what we're seeing here, it looks to me like it's a triangle. A triangle is A, B, C, D, E. I'm just trying to open it out a little bit so you can actually see that the moves are overlapping. So we've got some kind of A, B, C here, A, B, C here, A, B, C here. This one's not quite so clear, but if I open it out on the 1 hour, I might just do that to focus on it. Yeah, shows it much better. Looking like a triangle. So these channels I've got across here, the top channel and the bottom channel, they indicate a triangle, the converging and movement slightly upwards. So it's called a triangle. It's either a wave 4 or a wave B position, doesn't matter which, because they're both, wave 4 is before the final 5th wave down, and a wave B is pre-terminal as well, before the final move down. So we've got A, B, C making the A wave, A, B, C making the B wave, A, B, C making the C wave, A, B, C making a D wave. And that wasn't clear on the 4-hour chart. It's crystal clear here now. That's basically 3 waves. So I'm expecting A, B, C to finish the E wave, and then you'll get what's called a terminal thrust down in the final wave down, which is going to push us a little bit lower on 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗚. Just again, just be comforted by the fact this is a triangle, and it's also called a bear flag because it's upward facing slightly. We've got the A wave here, B wave here, or whether it's wave 3 here, wave 4 here, makes no difference. This is working out as a perfect triangle. The wave E does not always coincide with this trend line here. Wave E can undershoot or overshoot, unlike the other waves, which you know, there's rules there where they can't overshoot. The wave E can actually overshoot the trend line if it wants to. It doesn't usually. It's usually there or thereabouts. So I'm expecting a little bit of movement higher before we get this terminal push down. I haven't projected. You can't project from here very easily, but again, I think people will want to know where it's likely to go to. So we'll just scale back out again and go back up to 4-hour. And then you can see from the origin here, we've got the big ABC A down, big ABC B, and then whatever it is, 5 waves or 3 waves here. This is a pre-terminal triangle here, and we'll get the push down. So because the top was exactly equal here, wouldn't be at all surprised to see this terminal thrust down to finish somewhere around where the A wave finished here. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest to see a push down to the 13 area. So it's still a little bit of a nasty move down, but this is going to be a terminal wave. If this is truly a triangle, this then will be, without doubt, a terminal wave down, and that will give us the turnaround point that we're then going to push to highs, nice highs, sky high for 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗚. So it's looking really, really nice. Lovely chart, just very, very clear. So it's encouraging for me. I love the project. I'm going to be piling a lot of resources in down there. Just moving on to Ethereum, again, one of the big tokens that everyone's watching. It's followed the wave count perfectly. Yeah, so from the origin here, it's A, it's B, and then we've got some kind of big C wave, a kind of big extended C wave down, it looks like, because, well, yeah, that's the way it looks. So we again got this, nailed the bottom point here. A lot of people within the office and on Twitter, I was pretty confident this, because we actually got wave 3 was exactly a 2.618 times this wave 1. So the wave 1, I'll probably expand it out a bit so you can see it. You can just see this, none of this is chance. It's all just absolutely spot on. So we'll look at from the top there. You can just about see I've got from the top move there to wave 1. I put it on the wave 2. It gave me the precise point for wave 3. Here, 2.618, that's a perfect wave 3. That 0.618 is the golden ratio. We've got 2.618. It's a very, very common extension for wave 3. Then we got a very clear zigzag wave 4, which I'm just going to open out again even more for you to see it. So from the wave 3, we've got a correction A, B, C, wave 4. Pretty clear there. And then we've got a final move down here in the 5th wave, and if you counted that again on the internal count, you see 5 waves down, which gave us a clear turning point here. Now, once again, I've got either A, B, C, and wave 4 is complete, this blue wave 4, or as I've got it labeled otherwise, you can see this A wave it's either ABC wave 4 complete, or this is actually an A wave here, and this is some kind of B wave which can mess around here, and then we'll get a final C wave push up before another push down on Ethereum. So we are expecting, like everything else, a bit of a push up, hopefully, and then we'll get a final leg down. And we're looking at, you know, unfortunately, nasty prices quite a bit lower. I think around the 1700 level wouldn't be an impossibility at all. So in some ways, it's a great opportunity for people to pile in. I think it's fairly clear we are going to see lower prices, so I wouldn't be going long or jumping in at this stage. And that's exactly my message last week was, I'm out of the market. I'm staying out until the market's fallen down a bit. Or if you wanted to, because of these low points, some people are saying we're going to see a bit of a push up. I don't like trading these little waves up. I want to trade in the direction of the larger trend, which at the moment is down. As soon as we hit the low levels and the targets I'm after, and then we will still want to see the start of the movement up, basically a 5 waves up and 3 waves down, and that will be the time to jump in. So we'll look for confirmation of the bottom, we'll look for 5 up, 3 down, then we jump in. So we're not going to try and pick the low point, catch a falling knife, as they say. We're going to look for confirmation, so we're not taking undue risk. I'll move on to Phantom, which is one of our favorite tokens that's been upgraded by _𝗕𝗓, and it did really well. Try and look at the bigger picture on that one. Yeah, from the origin up here, I've got an ABC down, which is a larger A wave. We got 5 waves up from here. So I was thinking at the time we had ABC down, then we got a 1, a 2, which is ABC2. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and actually this 3 was actually a perfect extension of the wave 1. Then we got wave 4 and wave 5, and I thought, wow, this is actually likely the beginning of an impulse higher. And we got the perfect ABC down for this wave. For you know, if that were wave 1 up as an impulse, that's a wave 2 down. But then we moved to a higher point here, so it became clear this was actually a larger A, B, C. And this again, where people are looking for invalidations, and they use it as a criticism for Elliott wave. It's not a criticism, it's actually a strength of Elliott wave if you look at it in the right way. When you see invalidations, as we saw the other week on Bitcoin, it just tells you to reassess your position and realign yourself, so you don't take big losses in the market. It allows you to limit your losses and change your position accordingly, but you will have to take losses, and you have to accept that if you're going to be a successful trader. So basically on Phantom, we've got this big AB3 down, 3 up, so we're probably going to get, it's either a WXY, which will be 3 down, or 5 down, doesn't really matter which. My preference for the moment would probably be 5 down. So we've got a 1, a 2, wave 3, wave 4, which may or not be complete. And then we're just looking again, maybe for a little bit of, this could be beginning the final wave down, but we can still get a little bit of upward movement before we get the final push down. But I'm looking at actually quite a bit lower on Phantom, and it's almost like the one harmony in a way, that we're looking at a big correction to complete of an A, a big B, and a big C to finish somewhere around this low level. So for Phantom, we're looking at not an awful long way off half the price what it is now. So it's because it's risen so fast, you know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, possibly. We've had some rapid rises on it. We're having some really strong pullbacks as well. But again, really good light at the end of the tunnel, because we're going to see it push to new highs, some massive gains to be had in the future. But I'm looking for further pullback on Phantom. Won't keep it too long, but VET was the same. Again, we nailed the bottom on VET, and I was talking to people on Twitter about that. This was the bottom level, nailed it perfectly. We've seen some great moves up, but I'm still anticipate some further lows, and VET has really fallen an awful lot from where it was. I mean, what was it? Was it 40 cents or something?
28.
Oh, sorry, 20 cents. Yeah, it was right up there on that X wave. Yeah, WX. And we've got an AB, and we've just not finished this C wave down. So yeah, I actually had it labeled, and I posted this on Twitter about a 10% price bounce as predicted from support. The support was this sort of level. And I remember now, if I focus out, we'll see why it's support. Look at this here, this long wick down here, that was a previous low point. So it became a strong support level. And that's exactly what happened. We got a strong bounce off it. But I actually believe we're going to bounce off it as we have done precisely. But then it was just a test of that support. That support is likely to fail. And we're going to see a lower point, a lower low here before we get the big push higher. So I believe this big W, big X, and big Y is probably going to, because the X wave, it's not, the X wave is quite a lot lower than the previous high here. So I'm actually expecting that we will get a push lower here to finish the move. So beyond this W wave, we're going to get a push somewhat lower. And again, if we look at Fibonacci extension, I'm sure there's an absolute relationship there, but we won't look into it right now. And then just very quickly, I want to finish just because I was asked about it earlier. And I haven't done any proper wave counts on this yet, but I was just looking at the kind of wave personality of ADA. And everyone's a little bit concerned about the future here, but it looks very positive actually long term. And again, I'll just scroll out. I don't even see this as impulsive higher at the moment. So it tells me long term, I've got some concerns about the market, very long term, but we are going to push. I'm not talking about ADA here. I'm talking about the whole market, very long term. I've got some concerns. But certainly in this scale here, I think this is some kind of A, B, and that could even be potentially a triangle, C. And then we've got some kind of corrective move down here. And we're probably not an awful long way from, but it's after a bit of choppiness here, we're going to go lower again on ADA, but then we're going to push to once we finish the correction down, and I haven't done Fibonacci measurements or anything yet to look at projections where it will go, but following the correction, we're likely to see a push to new all-time highs. This is corrective, and just look at the sort of characteristics of what is corrective. Corrective means there's not any strong direction. So when you see an impulsive move, you tend to see lots of, if it's a bearish move, lots of red candles, one after another, straight the way down. If it's an impulsive move higher, a bullish move, then you'll see green candles. But this, you can see, is red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, choppiness, overlapping waves. This overlaps this. It's all overlapping. Everywhere you look is overlapping. There's no clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's no extended wave that's at least 1.618 times another wave. So for me, that's all corrective. It just means that when the market turns around after the next bit of a sell-off that we're going to see across all the tokens, after this little correction high, we will see a final sell-off down. This is all corrective from up here on ADA. So we're going to see a massive move higher. So it's another great token where I'll be looking to accumulate very, very soon. When we see this final push down, I'll be looking to accumulate across a whole range of exciting tokens that have got good use cases. And I wouldn't be concerned about any of the FUD that's put out there. These are positive tokens, and the outlook, the chart outlook is really good. So hope that's given you some food for thought and given you some encouragement to look forward to. In the future, we're going to focus more on some of those eBay tokens that have been upgraded, and we're going to have what's called a penny token focus. So some of those really low price tokens have got tremendous potential for multiple X higher. So we're going to do a little bit more of that in the future. But the reason I'm focusing on some of the big ones and some of the ones that people love, like ADA, like One Harmony, is because that's where everyone's at the moment. There's been so much fear of how is this going to be a crypto winter. The answer, my short answer, in my opinion, is no, it's not. We're going to see a final push down, a nasty push down, but then we're going to rocket higher. So there's opportunity for everyone. Thanks for your time, guys. Look forward to next week and hope you found it useful. Thank you.
So that was Matt Dixon sort of talking us through how he sees the market and where we're going to be heading. So really appreciate Matt coming on the show. Do check out advice.io. Link is in the description of the video. But yeah, it's fantastic for Matt to take the time to join us today. If you enjoyed today's content, mash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications, And do let us know in the comment section, what you would like Matt to chart next week. Always interested to get your views, and the projects that you want Matt to chart, and we will pass those on. So thanks for taking the time to watch today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.